Hello all, welcome to Ambari Cloud YouTube channel. And today I'll be presenting connected lake houses using X table. Why we need a connected lake houses and how we can achieve it through X table. And then I will walk through the architecture, all the step-by-step procedure, then why it is becoming popular lately. Okay. Okay. So let's assume we have, we have files, Parquet files in our storage. It can be S3, ADLS, or any other file system. And we're going to create a Iceberg tables using EMR or Dreamio or any other engine. Then let's assume you have a Snowflake, and then you have permanent tables, Snowflake tables, which are stored in Snowflake storage. In previous video, I walked through how to integrate Iceberg table through Snowflake object storage. Basically, object catalog, right? Object catalog integration, Snowflake catalog integration. Snowflake has a Snowflake catalog and object catalog integration, right? So we can connect here, and then we can query from Snowflake. Right? So EMR creating an Iceberg table and a Snowflake under it, or any other engines like Dreamio, Twinio, or even Cloudera, right? They can read this Iceberg table, but still EMR is managing it. Now, then of course we can use Spark connecting to Snowflake. Then execute the Iceberg tables or Snowflake table. Now, but I want to convert I want to read this Iceberg table from database, or I want to read this table in a hoodie format, right? How am I going to do that? So previously, we're going to read Iceberg table, we're going to start the database, we're going to read the Iceberg table load into Delta table, right? Then you need more storage conversion. But then or similarly hoodie table, right? So what's happening? What in the old architecture, we have to create a separate Delta table and it has one Parquet files. Then we have a separate another Parquet files for hoodie. Of course, from Databricks, we can create a uniform table. Then Delta and Iceberg, that's one direction, right? But if you have Iceberg, then you want to read from Databricks, then you have to convert into uniform. I mean, which is not possible today, maybe in the future. So the X table is a converter, is translator, right? So it keeps your Parquet files as is, but reads the Iceberg, converts into hoodie, right? Or it can convert into Delta file. So same Parquet files, no change. So same storage, and then you can create hoodie Delta from Iceberg, or Delta to hoodie and Iceberg, or hoodie to Delta and Iceberg, any direction, right? Omnidirections basically one table format into other two table formats, right? So this X table, and it works only on your metadata. It won't touch your data files, and it also incremental. Let's say you keep updating in the Iceberg table, then every time when you run the conversion or sync, I don't want to call it convert, sync, and then hoodie and delta is only through most recent snapshots and convert into delta and hoodie metadata. Okay. Now, once you have that, right, then I can use my database can read delta table. So here, the one engine creating Iceberg table, other engines can read, and then the conversion happening in a short period of time, and only metadata with minute storage and one. So here, so this let's assume this is ice house, right? Ice house is Iceberg and some engine. Then hoodie lake house or delta lake house, right? So now we have integrated lake houses, right? Delta Lake House, Hoodie Lake House, Iceberg Ice House, or many ice houses, right? Drenio and Trinio and Cloudera and all those things, right? Cloudera can be iceberg, right? So, or if you have a delta table from created database and then create iceberg and Cloudera can do it, or the snowflake kind. So this is architecture. E- So previously we talked about integrated ice houses, and now we are talking about integrated or connected lake houses. Right? Ice houses basically you have a EMR ice house and Databricks uniform ice house, one directional, and Cloudera ice house and Snowflake ice house, and then they can talk to each other through register table and or object catalog integration. But now, right, you have your own format, your engine format available, right? And then without using your engine credits, right, your engine money, right, or compute. So you can have a small node executing X table conversion, right? And it's also incremental. So I'm going to go through that demo today. Okay. So why limit yourself to just a few queries? You have and pay as you go model, right? Any engine, you just start and attach to your table format, and then every table format, every engine has its own advantages, right? But same data and multi-lake process, right? And then your ETL or ELPs can be done, in a more efficiently. So, what is X table? It acts as a translator between different table formats, allowing data stored in one format, like for example, Iceberg, to be accessed and used systems that typically work with another format. That means if you have Iceberg, you can convert into Delta and Hoodie, or if you have Delta, you can convert into Iceberg, whichever. Right? So it's just a translator, and it's not touching your data. This promotes interportability across data processing system and query engines, right? Many query engines, right? And if you already have a lot of system, if you are already invested in one query engine, but other team started investing in another query engine, but different table formats, yeah, but just crossover between these two, and then converting into one format or the format is very quick. So it supports Hoodie, Apache, Delta. So in direction, common way to understand handle tables. So one data set, three table formats, right? But the end user, they can use any format, and if a particular format is not available, you can quickly use that format on the same storage. So you can write data in one format and still use features of integrations available in other format. That's what we saw today. So yeah, so as I said, Hoodie can be converted into Delta and then through Databricks, or it converted into Iceberg through Snowflake or Cloudera, right? So this is how you can build your the integrated lake houses. Okay, as I said, right, omnidirectional. Let's say you have one format convert into other, or you decided to remove one tool from your organization, then just convert, then it's ready to go to another tool. So it reduces the stickiness. That's okay. And then it's not impacting your storage. It's tiny metadata. Okay. So it breaks down the barriers, right? And so just not only just ice houses or delta lakes or hoodie lakes, now all are in one place, right? So now integrated lakes, right? Lake houses, or we call a super lake, or some other word, right? But this allows you to bring variety of tools into your organization, and every tool has its own advantages, right? Snowflake has easy to use, or Databricks is a lot of spot power. Uri has streaming power, and then you can interportability between, so it's easy, right? So what is the X table? That you can go to this incubator X table and then build your things. And so what is the demo, right? So we're going to create an Iceberg table, And then we're gonna set up a configuration file. Basically, configuration file is saying that what is your source format, what is your target. Target can be delta and hoodie. It can be both in the same configuration file. And then the location of your table. The version S3, you have to specify the S3. I'm testing on a CDP cluster, but we have some issues, some setup issues. Then yeah, S3 or GDLS or sorry, ADLS or the Google Cloud. Then table name. That's it. Then you execute your Java procedure, and then it has other dash D components, like for example, your security, AWS security, and all that stuff. So this procedure is incremental. Let's say you are inserted data, then later update, then continuously, but it won't read all metadata every time. It's not going to pass entire table. It passes only incremental. Okay. We'll watch that. Then, of course, then once you convert into delta, we're going to read the delta table. Then also we're going to read the Iceberg from Snowflake. Right. Okay. So here I'm going to create an Iceberg table. Okay, so I'm going to create a database. So today, Xtable supports call right? Copy and write, right? That means any changes is going to create a clone of that file. And so you have to make sure that your table is a cow table. And then, okay, so look at the table properties, and then we're gonna check the directory structure. We have metadata and then data location, and we're going to check the version. Just we're going to insert some data, right? And once you insert some data, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the tree again. Just make sure that what is the data set here. So this is data we have, and we inserted mainly. That's why you have many snaps. So now once you have data, let's do some just for it, right? And we have data. So once the data is available, right? So okay. Now let's do conversion, right? Iceberg to data. Okay. So as I said, right, I'm going to convert into delta, and I'm converting to delta, and then I'm going to execute my procedure. Let's run the procedure. Okay. Make sure. Okay. Let's run the procedure. This procedure, what it does is reads the your metadata of the just go to the snapshots and look at each snapshot. Look at the first time, of course, you have to go through most recent the snapshot and walk through all the files, and then build the right. So then sync is successfully completed in the form of data. Okay, let's check that. Okay, and so let's do here. If you I'm going to show and then the data directory or not. Okay. So I have the JSON files and CRC files is created because you need to manage the previous every time when you run it, it has to manage the change log, right? So that way next time we will compare what because of the incremental load process. Okay. So it has to manage the previous run information. Now let's run Spark, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read table, but I'm going to read in a delta format, right? We can read delta format, Woody format, Iceberg format here, but I'm using the delta catalog here. So I'm going to run through, or if you connect to Databricks, if you have a Databricks running, and then you can connect to this table, and then you can show delta, right? Okay. So I'm running as the delta format, or then we already executed Iceberg here, right? And then same data here, of course, different order by right? So let's run more. Now we know the delta information, right? Then I want, since we created Iceberg table, right? Let's go to the AWS. I want to log in. Okay, and my Iceberg is there. Okay, so it says DB2, my address table, then my data and metadata, right? So from Snowflake, what we'll do is I'm going to create an Iceberg table pointing to my most recent metadata JSON. Okay, let's go to what is my most recent metadata JSON, right? And let's, okay. So here I have a most recent V6, right? I'm going to create a table pointing to V6, then create a table, and then I'm going to put it here from my Snowflake. Okay, now I can see that here. So my Spark EMR created this table, right? And then I converted into Delta table. Then Spark Delta I executed, and then I'm able to read. So that's how. So now is Snowflake. Um, Snowflake is integrated, right? So I created an Iceberg table, then Snowflake is read, and directly from the Snowflake, and then of course, then I created a Delta table, then I read through Spark, of course, there with Spark, Delta, then executed. Okay. So next, what I will do is I'm going to load more data. Okay. Some, then I'm going to run updates. I'm going to run some deletes, right? So it's happening every time when you complete your, whatever batch process, your updates and deletes, and then, you want to do it. So, once you're done, um, so you need to run your sync process. Now let's run the sync process. Okay. So remember the time here, 9:53, this file. Now we are running the sync process, and because we added more data files, and then which means more snapshots, then it's going to run each snapshot and then create a okay. So okay, so it is running the sync. Yeah, I'm running in the local machine. So now let's, once it is done, okay, so if you look at here, it is going to each snapshot and make sure that it is working. Now if you look at here, right? So it's creating a new files. So the old JSON file is still there. So these are data files, right? And so every time when you load, more JSON files. Now let's run one more time. Okay, more updates. So what I'm trying to do is, your Iceberg table keep on updating. I mean, based on your procedure. As soon as you complete your updates or whatever your batch process, you need to run the sync model. Then only your delta table will be in sync. Okay. Now let's run one more time. Okay. So it is running here. Now let's run here. I have a single node machine actually, so the machine is very tiny. So okay. So now you can see here, it's added, then it adds some checkpoint and then last checkpoint. So every time, it manages, how it is. So this is how you convert. Let's go to here. Um, CD2, plus cell, CD. Now you see delta directory and metadata. Metadata for Iceberg, delta for log, delta underscore log is for um, your delta table. Okay. So, well, then we decided to have hoodie, we need to hoodie table. And what we're going to do is we'll run the same procedure. After some time, let's say we decided, okay, I have Iceberg table, but I want to create a hoodie table on it because we decided to have a streaming on it or some other procedures we want to. So I'm going to run hoodie. Okay. So here hoodie is basically when you go to here, I'll go through. All we did is just change the table format hoodie. You can have both dash hoodie dash Iceberg. You can do both same time. Okay. So now I converted here, and now let's run. Yeah, if you say I here, it's hoodie directly created. Let's go to let's manage array. Okay, so you have a hoodie directories dot hoodie. Hoodie always creates dot hoodie, and now one table converted into multiple files. This is how the X table is still in incubating, and there are questions around. There are some questions around how you manage every time when you do some Excel snapshots, when you run any compaction, what are the procedures we need to follow. Still, but in the early stage, but definitely a good way to build integrated lake houses. So that's all I have today. And reach out to me any questions. It's okay again. Ambari Cloud. So keep watching Ambari Cloud YouTube channel. Thank you all.